What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to The World According to Briggs and a video about US states. Today we're looking at the states where nobody wants to move to. I ran a survey and asked people to list 3 states they would never move to. This video is about the states that were most often listed as places people would never move to. Now, what's strange about this one, that some of the states on this list were some of the most moved to states in 2021. Thought that was strange, so I dug into it and found out the number 1 and 2 reasons people moved to those states were jobs and families. Those 2 things often don't have options, so you gotta go. You gotta go for work, or if there's a family issue, you gotta move there. I also did a few polls in the community tab of this channel and found that these polls and the survey were very close. You guys felt the same as the same people that answered the survey. All right, let's see where you don't want to go. Number 10, Alaska. Like I've said before, Alaska lost its shine some years back. For a while there, all those adventurous types headed to Alaska because they wanted to live in the great outdoors, live off the grid, see a grizzly bear, learn things about Alaska like it's not always frozen and you don't call the locals Eskimos. Eskimos is kind of a term. They really prefer Inuit people. Some people consider Eskimo offensive because it is popularly perceived to mean eaters of raw meat. Eskimo is a term used to refer to 2 closely related indigenous people, the Inuits and the Yupik, which aren't just in Alaska, they're also in eastern Siberia, which is part of Russia, and if you didn't know, Russia used to own Alaska. But for a few decades, the flow of people into Alaska was pretty good, and in recent years, that flow reversed and people started leaving. 28% of the people surveyed had Alaska down as a place they wouldn't move to. Number 9, Oregon. Ever since Lewis and Clark paddled their happy asses down the Columbia River, Oregon has been a place to move to. It's been going on a very long time. The Oregon Trail was not just a game, it was real. I'm one of the people that moved to Oregon back in 2010. I love this state, but every single year I'm becoming more and more of a minority. There are a lot of different reasons Oregon has lost its popularity, whether it's the homeless, the politics, the riots, the protests, housing crisis, you name it, Oregon's got a lot of it. But Oregon still made the list of one of the most popular states to move to, and it was in the last video we had on states that don't want you moving here. There's a lot to unpack when you look at Oregon, but 31% of the people surveyed said they would never move to Oregon. Number 8, North Dakota. You know, I don't really think there's anything wrong with North Dakota other than they get brutally cold winters. Every single person I've ever met from North Dakota, that's one of the first things they say. The winters get frozen and it sucks. And then they usually list it as one of the reasons they left. Now, some years back when they started fracking up there and getting oil out of the ground, a lot of people moved there and they worked there and they realized they didn't want to live there. So as soon as the fracking and the oil kind of slowed down, people just beat feet south, moved into South Dakota. But 33% of the people surveyed said they would never move to North Dakota. Number 7, Arkansas. I'm not surprised at all. I've always viewed Arkansas as a great place to move if you don't like yourself. Maybe you've been a horrible person in the past and you feel like you need to pay some penance or something like that. A little suffering's good for the soul, some people think. In the 6th grade, I threw a tangerine at a friend and actually hit a nun in the back of the head. Nobody ratted me out and I never admitted it. I often feel bad about that. Maybe I should move to Arkansas, cleanse myself. But 40% of the people surveyed said they'd never move to Arkansas. Number 6, New York. Now, there's a lot of reasons people wouldn't want to move to New York. 1, New York City is extremely expensive and upstate New York gets extremely cold. But then you have that gray area in the middle between the two of them where it's kind of decent in a lot of places. I mean, they still get cold winters throughout that state, but it's expensive, taxes are high. New York just doesn't have that appeal that it once did. In recent years, it's fallen off the list of, like, say, the top 20 most moved to states. That's always how New York's been. I think the only census they've ever had where they actually lost population was in the 1980 census. They lost almost 4% of their population statewide. Now, in 2020, they still gained about 4%, but the last 3 years, they actually got close to losing people or broke even. But the first 7 years of the decade, they'd been gaining people at a pretty good clip. So if that trend continues, like it looks like it will, they'll actually have another losing census in 2030. And this list kind of shows that's where it's going. 44% of the people surveyed said they would never move to New York. Number 5, Alabama. Yeah, who's surprised about this one? Alabama does have some great places, but a lot of their more rural areas really are kind of nasty, and it turns a lot of people off. Birmingham, Huntsville, Mobile, those are all great cities. It's just parts of each one of them aren't that great, and that's all you ever see in the news. So that's turning people off, and then they got poverty issues. You know, they're not the worst at anything. They just have a lot of below medium stats. and it just doesn't look good for the state, so people move out. 45% of the people surveyed said they would never move to Alabama. Number 4, California. Are you surprised they're not number 1? Most people that watch the news probably are really shocked right now. Everything, including my channel, that just talk about California's bad. California has a lot of things bad. It's too expensive and they lead the country with the homeless situation. Traffic in all their major cities is just nuts. The only reason they're not number 1, they still have a lot of things to do. They have a lot of high-paying jobs, and people are still moving there. But that didn't stop 47% of the people surveyed saying they would never move to California. Number 3, Oklahoma. This one doesn't surprise me at all. Oklahoma is a state that nobody really ever talks about, but there's not a lot of great things going on there. I mean, every state has some good and everything has some bad. A lot like Alabama, Oklahoma's just kind of in the middle with a lot of subpar statistics. For a few years there, they were leading the country in the highest percentage of their population on public assistance. Yes, they actually beat out West Virginia and New Mexico. They don't have terrible crime. I mean, compared to other states, they're really not that bad. They have some pockets of areas where you probably don't want to be hanging out late at night, but for the most part, the state has a pretty low crime rate. 48% of the people surveyed said Oklahoma is not for them and they would never move there. Number 2, Louisiana. Actually, it's called Louisiana or the Pelican State or the Sportsman's Paradise. It's got a lot of names and it's got a lot of problems. Poverty, crime, depression, serious heat and humidity in the summer, and the occasional hurricane that drives through and destroys just about everything. But I love the people. It's so funny. If you talk to anyone about Louisiana that's from Louisiana, they kind of had this attitude like, yeah, it sucks, but you know, what you gonna do? And then they just smile. You just got to keep living your life. I love that attitude. Baton Rouge is one of the most dangerous cities in the United States right now. It's really bad. New Orleans, we talked about them the other day. Great city, but you know, you kind of want to stay in the tourist areas and hope for the best. Don't go outside the tourist areas in New Orleans. Then you got like Shreveport, which ain't no peach. I do like Alexandria. Some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet are in that city. I don't know what it is. Look at this lady. She even waves to the Google car. Alexandria doesn't have the best stats, but I've always just liked that city. It's just a nice place. I don't know why. I mean, their downtown's kind of cool, but you know, nothing exceptional. It's just I've always had a good time there. And I think that really has to do with the people. But that's my experience. Everyone else's experience with Louisiana ain't too cool because 49% of them said they would never move there. All right, before we get to number 1, since everybody always asks me where certain states end up, I'm going to tell you. Mississippi was number 11. Yes, it didn't even make the top 10. It was number 11, with 23% of the people saying they'd never move to Mississippi. That one kind of shocked me. And Kentucky was number 12 with 19% of the people saying they would never move there. Before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. We'd love it if you went over there and give some videos a big thumbs up and subscribe. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, New Jersey. Yes, nobody wants to move to New Jersey. It's actually more than half of the people surveyed had New Jersey on there as they would never move to that state. And there's a lot of reasons for this. 1, high cost of living, high housing prices. You know, their cities kind of blow in a lot of ways. They got some nice rural areas, but their cities are in bad shape in most cases. And New Jersey is considered the most taxed state in the union. 51% of the people surveyed said New Jersey is not for them and they would never move there. All right, everyone, that's today's video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, share it if you would. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.